boys and girls, get out your benchmark books and turn to page 10.
Yes.
Last time we met with this story, Lucy Larcom's New England Girlhood, we talked about suffixes, right? And we took notes off to the side of our margin of what is a suffix. It's basically an ending that we put to a base word that helps us understand what the word means, yes? Okay. So the suffixes that we learned were ology, which means if you put the word ology on the end of a word, it means the study of that word. For example, biology. But then we came up with a fun word that said, hey, Madison really likes hippos, so she's going to study hippos. What will we call that?
Hippoology.
Hippoology. Okay? I really like dogs, and I'm going to do the study of dogs.
Dogology.
So I'm going to learn dogology. Okay? So you can put ology on the end of anything. And then we have ant, like participant. It's actually participant. Don't we schwa it? Don't you remember learning those schwa vowels? So it means person who. So that means a person who participates. Okay? And you can put the ER on the end of a word. It also means person who, such as starter. And it can mean person who starts. And then we have ROR, which is another one. That is person who, like inspector. So person who inspects. And then we have ERY, which is condition of. So bravery, that's how they're being. That's their condition. They're being very brave. Okay? Yep. I don't know, though, that we got a chance to read this text. Did we read this together?
No.
All right, so let's go ahead and read this. I'll read it to you. You follow along as I read, okay? Lucy Larcom's New England Girlhood. In 1835, when Lucy Larcom was 11 years old, her widowed mother moved her 8 children to Lowell, Massachusetts. It's Lowell Mill Girls. There she opened a boarding house. Most of her tenants were mill workers. Makes sense. Lucy began working at Lowell Mills, too. At the time, it was legal and, therefore, not uncommon for children to work in factories. Years later, Larcom became an educator and author. In 1889, she published her autobiography, A New England Girlhood. The work reveals the thoughts and feelings of an observant child about being a mill laborer. It also tells us something about the technology of the time. So here's a quote from her. It says, "So I went to my first day's work in the mill with a light heart, and for a little while it was only a new amusement. But it was not, and could not be, the right sort of life for a child." One great advantage which came to these many stranger girls through being brought together away from their own homes was that it taught them to go out of themselves and enter into the lives of others. I never cared much for machinery. The buzzing and hissing and whizzing of pulleys and rollers and spindles and flyers around me often grew tiresome. I could not see into their complications or feel interested in them. But in a room below us, we were sometimes allowed to peer in through a sort of blind door at the great water wheel that carried the works of the whole mill. It was so huge that we could only watch a few of its spokes at a time, moving with a slow, measured strength through the darkness that shut it in. Today, Lucy Larcom's autobiography is often used to study childhood in early America. All right, did anybody notice any words as I read this that had any of these suffixes? Anybody? You, JC?
How many am I allowed to do?
Oh, give me one. Give me
Okay.
one.
Technology.
Where's that at? Which paragraph?
It's in paragraph 2, the very end of paragraph 2.
Paragraph 2, very end. Technology, very good. So this would be the study of what? Everybody?
Tech.
Tech, very good. All right, did anybody else notice any other ones? Abby?
Paragraph 2, it says
Yeah, it doesn't have ology. It does have a suffix on it, but it's not one of the ones that we talked about. Mikey?
In the very beginning of paragraph 5, machinery.
At the very beginning of paragraph 5, we have machinery, which is this suffix, the condition of machines. All right, Sal? It is one that it has graphy as the suffix, but it's not one of the ones that we have listed here. Okay? Yep. Any other ones? Any other ones? Do we see any with A and T? We got one with ology. We got one with airy.
Oh.
Okay, do we have any with A-N-T, E-R, or O-R? Those are person who. Lucy?
Strangers.
Where?
In paragraph 4.
Paragraph 4. It says stranger. Person who is
Strange.
Huh, is that what the strange? Okay. Alright, so we got an E-R. Do we have an O-R and an A-N-T? Okay, O-R or A-N-T. Alright, Wiley.
Is tenants one?
Where?
In paragraph 1.
I wonder how that would help us understand. I mean, a tenant is a person, isn't it? Where is that? There it is. It's a person who tenures, I guess, or person who stays there. So, I mean, if you say I am a tenant of this hotel, that means I'm a person who is staying there, right? Okay. All right, Abigail.
Observant.
Where?
Around the end of paragraph 17.
Around the end of paragraph 2. Around the end. There it is. Okay. Person who observes. Very good. All right. Okay, Sal.
Laborer.
Where?
Paragraph by technology, but the second.
Oh, I see it. A mill laborer. E-R. Good. Person who labors. Very good. All right, Mikey.
Paragraph 2, educator.
Paragraph 2, educator. Yes, person who educates. I think we got an example of every one. I got my ology, technology. I got my ant, tenant, and observant. I got my ER, laborer and stranger. I got my OR, which is
There's one more, Miss
educator.
There's one. Raise your hand.
And then I got ERY, machinery, condition of.
Miss Choquette.
All right, what's the last one? Isabella, what's the
Author.
one?
Author.
Where?
Paragraph 2.
Paragraph 2. Man, there's a lot in paragraph 2.
I know.
Right. And there's another.
And there's workers. Yeah, there's workers.
Where?
Author.
People can off.
Where's workers?
Paragraph 1.
Paragraph 1.
Next to Lucy.
Next to Lucy. Lucy, is there a worker next to you?
Oh, Christian works.
So technically,
Oh, snap.
Oh.
I'm not seeing workers.
It's right next to. It's right next to
There.
citizens is
Okay.
tenants.
Next to Lucy, on the left side of Lucy.
what page are we on?
We're on page 10.
10.
All right, so why do we add these suffixes to the end of words? Why? Why? Does it change what brave means?
No.
Does it change how the word is being used?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we add these suffixes to help us understand words that maybe we don't know. I mean, if you saw a word that had ology on the end of it, it would help you understand what that word may mean.
I didn't know.
So if you saw ology at the end of it, you would say, well, I know it's the study of something. Okay? So if you can figure out what the root word is, and then add in the suffix, it'll help you understand what the word means. So understanding the meanings of suffixes or prefixes, which is what we put to words at the beginning of a root word, it helps us understand the meaning of it, the definition, without having to look it up. Okay? All right, any questions? Make sure you show your teacher your highlighted words for your egg. And put the definitions in the margin of your book.
Yes.
Good to go?
Yep.
And